Hey everyone, Josh and Amy here from ThroughMyLens.com, and we're going to show you 15 things to do in Tempe, Arizona.
Located adjacent to Phoenix, Tempe is a city of over 40 square miles, which is home to Arizona State University, one of the largest universities in the United States. We got a chance to explore over 3 days and really enjoyed the exciting food scene and a lot of the fun adventures around the Tempe area. Here are some of our favorite things to do in the city of Tempe. My first recommendation is just to take some time exploring downtown Tempe. Downtown Tempe is much like what you would expect from a college town. It has a fun vibe with great restaurants and lots of nightlife. We loved walking down Mill Avenue, going to Pedal House Brewery, and playing games at Snakes and Lattes. Snakes and Lattes is especially fun as it has over 1,000 different board games to choose from and food and drinks that you can have as well. If you're there on Sunday, be sure to check out 6th Street Market, which is an arts and farmers market near City Hall. And if you need a place to stay, we loved the Residence Inn, which is right in downtown and has a rooftop pool that overlooks a mountain. Recommendation number 2 is a hike up A Mountain. A Mountain, also known as Hayden Butte, is the crown of the Tempe skyline. This mountain has a lot of hiking trails and a big A that's been there in its current iteration since 1955. The A is painted every year to keep it fresh, and you will see people hiking the city mountain all day long. We did the hike at sunset, and it was a great spot to watch the sun descend on the desert and the city of Tempe. Note that this spot can be really busy, especially on the weekends though. Next up, check out the Arizona State University campus and art museum. ASU is a giant college right in the heart of Tempe with over 50,000 students enrolled. It's within walking distance from downtown, and it's worth checking out even if you're not a student. The campus has lots of large outdoor art installations, including the famous James Turrell ASU sky space known as Heir Apparent. It also has the Palm Walk, which is a palm tree lined pedestrian walkway that goes north to south through the campus. And the ASU Art Museum is there for you to visit as well. Next up, before moving on, I wanted to specifically recommend seeing the ASU Gammage building. The Gammage building is one of the most iconic buildings in all of Arizona, and it was one of the last public commissions of Frank Lloyd Wright. They still have performances here often, or you can take one of the free tours that happen weekly depending on show schedules. We went on one of the free 1-hour tours, and it was a great way to experience this famous work of architecture. If you have an hour to spare and you're interested in history or architecture, you definitely want to see this spot. Next up, check out the public art and murals around the city of Tempe. Tempe has a vibrant art culture, and one of the best ways to see it is to drive around to the many different murals in the city. Amy and I spent a few hours driving around to a half dozen or so while we were there, and there's some really fun ones that provide some great photo opportunities. If you want to see some of them, there's an interactive map online that'll let you know where they're all at. Next up, spend some time on the water at Tempe Town Lake. Before visiting Tempe, I had no idea that they have a nice lake with kayaking right in the heart of downtown. Tempe Town Lake is a really fun place to explore while in Tempe, and you can rent everything from kayaks and swan boats to stand-up paddleboards. Amy and I went out on a weekday morning, and we were the only people there, and it was a really peaceful way to spend a morning in the city. There are many different bridges that you can kayak under and some great views of downtown Tempe. It does get really busy on the weekends though, so be sure to get there early if you want to experience it. Next up, head over to Papago Park and go to Hole in the Rock. Shared by both Phoenix and Tempe, Papago Park is a municipal park with lots of things to explore. You can hike, mountain bike, see the historic Hunt's Tomb, or climb to Hole in the Rock. Hole in the Rock in particular is a very popular sunset spot since it's a short hike and has a great viewpoint. The hole that's in the middle of the rock lets you walk from one side to the other, and it's a favorite photo spot for many local photographers. If you get a chance, check it out while you're in the city, but bring your patience as there's always a lot of people no matter the time of the day. Recommendation number 8 is the Desert Botanical Garden. Also located in Papago Park, the Desert Botanical Garden is one of the best I've ever seen. This garden has almost 2 miles of trails focusing on different parts of the desert landscape, and it's beautiful to explore, especially at sunset. The garden has many different art shows throughout the year as well. When we went, it was Wild Rising by Cracking Art, which had many different animals made out of recycled plastic all around the garden. I didn't get to explore here as much as I would like, but it was beautiful and something I definitely would come back to. Next up, a little bit outside of downtown Tempe, you'll find the Simply Smashing Rage Room. If you're looking for a fun way to relieve some stress, this is definitely a spot you'll want to check out. Here you can get a box of items, put on protective gear, listen to loud music, and just smash them to dust. Amie and I really enjoyed this experience. This is a lot more fun than you would think it would be, and I especially enjoyed smashing the keyboard since I sit in front of that most days of the week. Another great attraction in Tempe is to go to Lumberjaxes Axe Throwing. Axe throwing is becoming popular around the United States, but this was our first time doing it. It was surprisingly easier than I had anticipated, and it was a great way to spend an hour. Our group had a blast learning to throw axes from the people who were working there and encouraging each other to hit the board. Plus, when you finally get it to stick in the wood, it's an awesome feeling. Bring some friends and try it out for yourself if you're in Tempe. Next up, go for a hike in South Mountain Preserve. If you're looking for more hiking while you're in Tempe, head 20 minutes south to South Mountain Preserve. This park is one of the largest municipally maintained parks in the United States, and it has over 16,000 acres. We set out on Mormon Trail up to Hidden Valley, and it gave us great views over Phoenix and Tempe. On the Hidden Valley Loop, we got to see a rock tunnel and an area known as Fat Man's Pass, which was too narrow for me to get through. We also saw a snake and some saguaros, and be sure to bring lots of water as there's not a lot of shade. It's a great hike if you're looking for something a little harder than A Mountain. Alright, to end this video, I wanted to share some of my favorite food spots. I have to say, Tempe has a pretty exceptional food scene, and you can easily spend a weekend here just trying many of their unique restaurants. We're gonna go through breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but first, let's check out the coffee shops. There are a lot of great coffee shops in Tempe since it is a college town, and Cartel is my personal favorite as they have an awesome agave latte as well as a bunch of fun pastries made in-house. Infusion Coffee and Tea is another popular spot with a lot of seating and special drinks like the Bee's Knees, which has espresso, honey, and lemon. Rounding out the coffee shops, you have Press Coffee and Royal Coffee. Both have good drinks and they're a great way to start your morning or afternoon caffeine intake. Moving on from coffee, let's talk about food. First up, for breakfast, I love Crate Bar in South Tempe. The chef makes some truly unique combinations, with my favorite being the Grand Prix, which mixes pork belly, eggs, and a coffee maple syrup. Next up, for breakfast or a weekend brunch, go to Snooze AM Eatery. They have many different types of pancakes and Benedicts to choose from, plus you can do a pancake or a Benedict flight if you want to try more than one. I mean, what more do I need to say to get you excited about brunch than a pancake and Benedict flight? For lunch, right across from Snooze AM Eatery is Postino Annex. It's a personal favorite of mine as they have a dozen different kinds of bruschetta, and you can select 4 for your meal. It's a lot of fun to try the flavor combinations that they come up with, and it's a great spot with outdoor seating that looks out over downtown. If you want something faster, then the Chuck Box is hard to beat. They've been making burgers for decades, and the burgers are cooked in front of you on an open fire while you wait in line. It's a darn good burger and definitely one I come back to each time I visit the city. My last recommendation for lunch is House of Tricks. House of Tricks has a beautiful tree-shaded outdoor area in downtown Tempe and some great food to go along with it. My favorite is the green chili cornbread BLT, and I highly recommend you order it. It's also a great spot for a fancy dinner as well, and whatever you do, make sure to also order the caramel apple bread pudding at the end. Alright, for my first dinner recommendation, I like Four Peaks Brewing Company. Four Peaks has a laid-back vibe, great beers, and a beer bread sandwich that's decadent and full of flavor. It has a nice outdoor seating area, plus you can take a tour of the brewery on Saturday as well if you want to learn more about the brewing process or the supposedly haunted building that they're in. Next up, Culinary Dropout is a favorite for many people while in Tempe. This spot has a massive open seating area with games to play in the back and a lot of fun food options. Be sure to order the soft pretzel appetizer with cheese fondue as it's hard to beat. Plus, I like the fried chicken there, and Amie loves the sweet corn ravioli. Lastly, Ghost Ranch in Southern Tempe is probably my favorite spot for dinner in the city. They have exceptional modern Southwest cuisine with some of the best queso I've had in a long time. I can't imagine anything being bad here, but my personal favorite is the sampler, so you can try a little bit of everything. Do make sure to get reservations as this is a popular restaurant, and let me know if I left off one of your favorite food spots in the comments. Thanks to Tempe Tourism for encouraging us to come out and showing us some of the best spots in the city.
Make sure to let us know below any of your favorite places to explore in Tempe and go to throughmylens.com for more.
We will see you on the next video.